Okay, I'm going to choose another reader. Could I have Chatresh, please?
Now, now what I want is facts. Teach these boys and girls nothing but facts. Facts alone are wanted in life. Plant nothing else and root out everything else. You can only form the minds of reasoning animals upon facts. Nothing else will ever be of any service to them. This is the principle on which I bring up my own children, and this is the principle on which I bring up these children. Stick to facts, sir. The scene was a plain, bare, monotonous vault of a schoolroom, and the speaker's square forefinger emphasized his observations by underscoring every sentence with a line on the schoolmaster's sleeve. The emphasis was helped by the speaker's square wall of a forehead which had his eyebrows for its base, while his eyes found commodious cellarage in two dark caves, overshadowed by the wall. The emphasis was helped by the speaker's voice, which was inflexible, dry, and dictatorial. The emphasis was helped by the speaker's hair, which bristled on the skirts of his bald head. A plantation of furs to keep the head. The head had scarcely warehouse room for the hard facts stored inside. The speaker's obscene carriage, square coat, square legs, square shoulders, nay, his very neckcloth, trained to take him by the throat, which an unaccommodating grasp, like a stubborn fact as it was, all helped the emphasis.
Thank you very much. So for 4 marks, is the speaker a likable character? Have a look at some of the evidence suggestions that are highlighted, but don't just rely on those alone. Okay, some good answers here. I've chosen one answer. The speaker is not a likable character as his voice was flexible, dry, and dictatorial. So this tricolon here, list of 3, really shows that he's not someone who appears very friendly at all. Dry, sounds quite boring, inflexible, unwilling to change. Not what a good teacher should be. Dictatorial, bossy, and overly bossy, telling people what to do. Even the appearance, the speaker's mouth was wide, thin, and hard set. Wide, thin, and hard set. Thin, not a very pleasant, even the way they're speaking as well. Shows that the speaker is stubborn and not ready to listen to arguments. Good level of analysis there. His voice is compared to a dictator, a person who doesn't tolerate anything against him. Likewise, the speaker will not allow for anything but facts to be taught. Very rigid. Even the description, the square coat, square legs, square shoulders, that just shows this rigidity of this character, this person. Almost kind of like a shape, just like angular. I also don't think he's a likable character because facts are not the only things needed for life. Creativity and imagination are all vital parts of life other than just facts. Yes, we have this rigidity, stubbornness, this no no way for creativity or flexibility at all. Thank you very much. Okay, could we now have, just looking to see who I haven't had reading, Tahim, please.
Over the next few years, Miss Phelps could hardly take her eyes from the small girl sitting for hour after hour in the big armchair at the far end of the room with the book on her lap. It was necessary to rest it on the lap because it was too heavy for her to hold up, which meant she had to sit leaning forward in order to read. And a strange sight it was. This tiny dark-haired person sitting there with her feet nowhere near touching the floor, totally absorbed in the wonderful adventures of Pip and old Mr. Havisham and her cobwebbed house, and by the spell of magic that Dickens, the great storyteller, had woven with his words. The only movement from the reader was the lifting of the hand every now and then to turn over the page, and Mrs. Phelps always felt sad when the time came for her to cross the floor and say, "It's 10 to 5, Matilda."
Thank you. So from the passage, how does Miss Phelps feel about Matilda? And this is again worth 4, so around about 6 minutes. Okay, so Mrs. Phelps likes Matilda. She really is intrigued by her. She could hardly take her eyes from the small girl sitting for hour after hour. She admires her. And she's such a young girl reading such a complex Dickens book, says Annie. And she always felt sad when the time came for her to cross the floor and say, "It's 10 to 5, Matilda." This shows that she didn't want Matilda to leave when she had to go home. That's a really good answer. So I'm going to put that one as an example, which would achieve the full 4 marks there. There you go. Okay, we'll probably have time for one more, I would say. Could I have, looking at my list of people we have, Azaria, please.
Mrs. Darling loved to have everything just so, and Mr. Darling had a passion for being exactly like his neighbours, so of course they had a nurse. As they were poor, owing to the amount of milk the children drank, this nurse was a prim Newfoundland dog called Nana, who had belonged to no one in particular until the Darlings engaged her. She had always thought children important, however, and the Darlings had become acquainted with her in Kensington Gardens, where she spent most of her spare time peeping into perambulators and was much hated by careless nursemaids, whom she followed to their homes and complained off to their mistresses. She proved to be quite a treasure of a nurse. How through she was at bath time and up at any moment of the right night if one of her charges made the slightest cry. Of course, her kennel was in the nursery. She had a genius for knowing when a cough is a thing to have no patience with and when it needs stocking around your throat.
Thank you very much. So what is unusual about the Darling's nurse? And this is worth 2 marks.
She's a dog.
Okay, we need to, we're looking at the structure here. Point, evidence, explanation. And remember to include your evidence. Indeed, she is a dog, and a Newfoundland dog who's owned by nobody before being engaged by the Darlings, and their nurse proved to be quite a treasure to the Darlings. Yes, and we know this because it's actually said in the text. Of course, her kennel was in the nursery, so it sounds like she's a companion here. I'm just looking at some of the answers here. How such a well-trained dog was not owned. That's unusual as well. Yeah, and they adopted her.